What's going on, my YouTube people? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing great as usual. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. You guys are the best. Closing in on 3,000 subscribers, guys. I know that's probably a small accomplishment in your eyes, but it's huge to me, and I'm humble to the fact. Just want to thank everybody for, sticking with me, man. It really means the world, guys. It truly, truly does. But guys, listen, we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna try to go as quick as possible here. I don't want to make you guys fall asleep. But anyways, let's do it, guys. 77-inch Sony A95L to the left. 77-inch LG G4 in the middle. 77-inch Samsung S90D, which is my latest purchase, to the right. Oh my God, guys. I don't really know what to tell you guys. I just can't express enough how hard this is to tell you which one I like the best, because there's just different reasons. And I do sit with these TVs and I do observe them, and I spend lots of time, guys, just sitting there and analyzing the picture in different picture modes, game mode. It's endless. And if anything, it just kind of confuses you even more, actually. But right now what I want to do is just fulfill a lot of the requests that I've been getting. And one of the biggest requests I've been getting was compare these three TVs side by side with each other in Filmmaker mode and Professional mode. And that's what I'm doing. All right. So as you guys can clearly see with my settings, I'm going to go ahead and go through them. First with the A95L, guys. Just going to go very quickly here. Picture. We are in Professional. Brightness. As you can see, we're maxed out. Contrast and brightness. Gamma set middle. Gradation preferred tone mapping. Black levels are at 50. Contrast enhancer off. Black adjust off. Peak luminance is on high. Color 53. Live color is off. Color temperature warm. I don't like, not the biggest fan of expert. Sometimes it can get really pink. Clarity. Sharpness at 4. Reality creation is off. I'm telling you guys, in real life, I keep reality creation on all day long. 4K, low bitrate content, I don't care. Reality creation is on, and it is mostly, to be honest with you, mostly on auto. But I'm going to keep it off for all intensive purposes. Random noise reduction off. As you can see, smooth gradation is on low. Video signals are on auto. All right, guys. Now, G4, again, Filmmaker mode. We're going to go ahead and go up to settings, down to advanced. Brightness. As you can see, we're maxed out just like the A95L. Black levels, again, in the middle. Tone mapping is off. I can turn it on, but I almost feel the way I look at it is tone mapping off to me looks like gradation preferred on the A95L. I don't know why. It just looks very, very similar. Even though they're completely two different settings, that's just how they look to me. So I'm going to keep it that way. And that's just how it is. All right. Expression enhancer off. And as you guys can see, we're going to go to color. Color depth 56. I play with color more on the G4 than I do on the A95L and the S90D. I can go between 50 and 60 when it comes there. It's a WOLED. It cannot get to the color purity that a QD OLED can, period. That's not why I get the G4 though. As you can see, white balance, warm 50. Gonna go ahead, go to clarity. Sharpness is on 4. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go to the S90D. All right. Oh, we are in. Oh, I'm sorry. We are. Let me just put this back down to filmmaker mode. All right. So filmmaker mode. Good thing I caught that now. We're going to go to brightness up, contrast up, sharpness at 9. I just feel like sharpness at 9, 10 is where you're going to get clarity without looking too over sharpened. Again, that's just my personal opinion. Everyone is different. Color is at 22. Out the box, I believe it's at 25. Contrast enhancer off. HDR tone mapping at static. Color tone warm 2. Not the biggest fan of the other ones, but I like warm 2. Shadow detail at 0. When I'm gaming, I actually turn that down a little bit, either to -1 or 2. Color booster is off. Let me just tell you guys something about color booster. It's better than live color on the A95L. That's just how I see it. It's just more aggressive. It has more punch. It's more noticeable with the transition from going to, let's say, like low to high. It's just more noticeable. And it has more of an effect. And I just love it. Color booster is to die for, guys. It really is. But we're going to keep that off for all intensive purposes, just to try to make it a little bit more even. All right. And as you can see, that's where we're at. All right, guys. So now, right off the bat, guys, long story short, the king of color is and always has been Samsung. And that's the same story when it comes to the S90D. I don't have an S95D to compare to. I know it's brighter. I know the measurements are definitely overall a brighter TV, and I know it looks phenomenal. I gotta say though, the S90D, man, is just a joy. It really, really is. I don't think that anyone will complain with an S90D. It's just that damn good when it comes to color. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that just because it smacks everyone around when it comes to color, that the competition is lackluster, because it's not, guys. It's really, really not. As a matter of fact, the only time I saw where it was lacking was last year with the G3, specifically in game mode. All right, guys. I actually think that it's the new game mode for G4. Color has gotten better, but yeah, it's a WOLED. It's not going to be as colorful as a QD OLED. Let's just get out that out the way. QD OLEDs have better color, point blank, period. You don't even need measurement tools to even notice that, but it doesn't mean that the WOLEDs are bad. As you can clearly tell, especially when you're in filmmaker mode and professional mode, there's really not that much of a difference in color in the first place. So again, if your priority is color, just go with the S90D, guys. It's that simple. Go with it. It's already less expensive than the other two TVs, so you're saving money there and you're getting better color right off the bat. It's that simple. I just love the way the S90D looks, man. It is crazy. It is just like boom, it just smacks you. Even at the lowest settings, the colors are better. That's how good Samsung has their color pop. All right. And they've always been known for that. So all you're doing is just taking the new technology, the new panel technology, QD OLED, and you're implementing your already existing very high punchy color into a QD OLED, and it just makes for probably one of the best TVs visually that you've ever seen in your entire life when it comes to specifically color. All right. Now, with that being said, that's not, again, the end all be all, because if you're a person who doesn't care so much for color pop purity, vibrancy, things like that. You just want good color, and let's say your priority is more towards something like clarity, fine details, 3D pop, um, things of that nature when it comes to picture quality. Yeah, I will say the best direction to most likely go for you will either be the G4 or the A95L. It's that simple. Um, they have better clarity, they have better fine details, and they actually both have the A95L does have a little bit of a better, let's say, 3D pop, but it's not as good as the G4. All right, guys. So that's just my point right there. Now we're going to go ahead and run a couple more examples here. I'm going to actually probably go back more closer towards the beginning of this movie, Mario Brothers. And guys, while I backtrack here, get yourself a DVD player, a 4K HDR DVD player, something that's decently priced. Don't go for a cheap one and try to save money. Don't go for $100 one or even a $200 one, guys. Go for something that's like higher end. When you purchase a premium TV, go with a 4K DVD player that just pairs up with a premium TV very, very well. Promise you guys, if you're looking for the best optimized picture quality experience, just go with a 4K DVD player. I know we stream all the time, and I get it. It's convenient. It's still cool, 4K. But it's just not as good as a DVD player when you're watching a movie. And, you're spending that kind of money, just do it. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. And if you do, return the damn thing. It's that simple. But here, I wanted to stop at this example right here. All right, so here's another thing that I noticed about these three TVs, just sitting back and observing. The problem is with me that I think a lot of people... and I think this is kind of like historically has been the same as, well, maybe not historically been the same, but kind of noticeable recently is that the G4 clearly has the brightest highlights, as you can tell. You see the sample of the water shooting in the air in the middle there, that bright glow. You see how it's the brightest out of the three, right? But at the same token, the blacks are not as inky. They're a little bit more raised than they are compared to the S90D and the A95L. So I've always found that a little bit of an issue when it comes to the G4. It's just that for some reason, and again, I'm in filmmaker mode, so I haven't really looked at it or analyzed this too much in other modes, but I did notice in filmmaker mode that it does raise the blacks slightly, very, very ever so slightly. As you can clearly tell, the S90D just has the inkiest blacks where the inkier blacks should be. And that's what I'm taking out of this. But the brightness in that highlight right there, in that region right there where the brightness should be as bright as possible, you can clearly see that LG does the best at that right there. So it's a really good double example here in this particular scene. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip to another scene that I wanted to show you guys. Not that one. Not that one. Maybe this one, but a little bit further. Yeah, here. All right. So I wanted to do this close up right here. So try to show you guys as best as I can. What I'm seeing here, hands down, is they look very equal at first glance, right? They really do. But if you look as close as you can, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Probably reverse this just a little bit. Let's get here. This is a better example right here. So as you can see, the eyeball, right? Now, at first glance, they look even. looking a little bit closer, guys, I'm telling you, the the A95L to me has the sharpest highlight detail in scenes like this, like smaller highlight regions just look sharper on the A95L. It's like they know how to make it look the sharpest, the best, and taking advantage of that QD OLED technology with the Sony processing. I just have again, it's just my personal opinion. I really like the way the A95L pulls that off the best. The G4 still has the best 3D pop. You can clearly see that in this image right here. The S90D comes in second place when it comes to that 3D pop, but it's just an example that I wanted to bring out. So now we're gonna go ahead. Gonna go to another scene here. Nope, not that one. Here we go. All right, so another perfect scene right here. This is gonna be a scene where I'm gonna tell you guys, no matter what TV you choose, especially when you're like in filmmaker mode, professional mode, and things like that, they're gonna look very similar for the most part. This is a perfect scene of that. Yes, QD OLED obviously has better color overall, but when you're in filmmaker mode, it kind of tones that down more for QD OLEDs, especially Samsung. But you can see they're going to look very, very similar. The shades of orange, the shades of yellow, the shades of red, they look different. They look good. They look very similar in a lot of ways, and you're kind of not going to tell the difference, especially if you're a person who likes to keep it in filmmaker mode. And I'm doing this as an example because this is the most common question that I'm getting the most. But I will say the sharpest out of the three TVs, the one with the most clarity, the one with the most fine details, hands down, G4 just has it. You can see the imperfections more within the flowers. You can see the little holes, the little dots in the flowers that are glowing a lot better in the G4 than you can in either the S90D or the A95L, hands down. So that's just what it looks like to me. All right, now we're gonna go ahead. Here's a perfect scene here, guys. Darker scenes, I'm telling you right now, the G4, in my personal opinion, just has the best processing when it comes to being able to maintain shadow detail, fine details in darker scenes than the A95L and the S90D. It just looks good. It just looks clean. It just looks sharp without any extra effort. There's no AI enhancements. There's no reality creation even that you can even use in a G4. It just does it right, and it just looks good to me. And that's that's just what I see in this particular example. But I noticed that when I was watching this movie before, and I just wanted to point that out. Here, we're gonna go ahead. All right, guys, the color pink looks the best on the A95L. It just looks more like what pink should look like without overdoing it. But again, that's just a personal opinion. All right, we're gonna start getting towards the end here. Very good scene here with the mushrooms, guys. As you can see, the colors still look very similar. That is because we are in filmmaker mode and professional mode. Yes, you can tweak these colors, guys. It's your TV. Do whatever you want. Don't let a YouTuber out there tell you exactly how you should have your picture. That is going to be their own personal opinion of why, you should maximize your TV's potential according to how they personally think a TV should look. Most of us, when we do purchase a TV, yes, we do want lots of color. But there is a whole world out there that thinks that, too much color, too much saturation, too much color pop is just not right. And they don't like it. You can't make one statement and just apply it to everybody who's buying a TV. And this is a perfect example of it. You can get either one of these TVs and you can tone either down the colors or tone up the colors, and they will still be able to somewhat look similar. Doesn't really matter. But if you really just pay attention to your TV and just spend a lot of time with it and learn your TV and learn your settings and just try different things, tone mapping, contrast enhancer, whatever you want. You know, you want to put the color up, you know, another 20 decibels, go ahead, do it. But at the same time, remember, you're going to start sacrificing other features or other things that the TV is really good at doing when you do certain things. So obviously, you're going to make your TV the way you like it, and that's that. Now, we're going to start getting towards the end here. Oh, sorry. We're actually going to go back more. Yes, this is where we're going to get to here. That first scene in the beginning where I was at. Oh, is what I want to get to. Here. All right, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead. We're going to start putting these. Let's just say you want more brightness, you want more color out the box. Let's just go there. Let's just put it to standard mode just as an example. We don't have to go to dynamic or vivid. Let's just keep it in standard. Now, let's go ahead and change that to standard. And let's go ahead and change that to standard on the A95L. All right. All right, so here we are. So we're in standard mode, all right? Not even tweaking any other settings or anything, just really just going by here. I'm a person who, when I'm watching a certain movie like Mario Brothers, which I don't even know if you haven't seen this movie or not, but you should if you haven't. This movie is just phenomenal. It's funny from beginning to end. It's fun to watch. But I am a person that keeps it in standard mode, all right? Now, I reset my own personal settings the way I kind of like fine tune them. But my point is that if you're a person who prioritizes color, yeah, just go with the S90D. If you're a person who is like, let's say like 50-50, color is not that much of a priority, but it's still important to you, right? Maybe not like 80-20, but 50-50. Let's just say you really love the way you want your TV to look more 3D, or you want your TV to have more fine details and things like that. Go with the G4. If you don't care, money is not an object for you, you don't really have a budget on a TV, but you want a QD OLED, go with the A95L. It's probably like the best happy medium for all that, all right? But my point is here, guys, is when it comes to color, all right, just because the S90D smacks the competition out of the park when it comes specifically to color, like look at how nice the S90D looks when it has so much vibrancy, so much, it's like clear, it's vibrant, it's glowy, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that the other TVs are that far off. All right, this is a perfect example of that. So just because the S90D, again, in my personal opinion, has the best color, does it really mean that the other TVs and their color is bad? No, not even. Look, the percentage of how close they look, you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5%. That's how close they look when you're in filmmaker mode or professional mode. And in standard mode, as you can clearly tell. So it really just does depend. Now, what I will say is what I like about QD OLEDs is that because of that reason, that they are QD OLEDs, yeah, they just have more color purity, more color vibrancy. Their colors are brighter than WOLEDs, but if it's not, again, a priority to you, and let's say the 3D pop is a priority to you, let's say the fine details and the clarity is a priority to you, and you want a TV that has the best of that, just go with the G4. Call it a day if you have the money for it, if it's within your budget. Again, we're talking premium TVs here, so um, that's simply it. Now, the S95D, I'm not familiar with it. I just know that it has the same amazing color and it's brighter, um, but obviously it has the more of that matte finish. But again, when you're looking at, let's say, the glossy finish TVs, guys, it doesn't get any better than any of these TVs right here, as you can clearly tell. So it really just does come down to what is important to you. And that's all I really wanted to make the point of in this particular video here, guys. I really appreciate your time. Please let me know in the comments what is important to you guys. What, like, if you had to choose between these three TVs and you were really considering purchasing one out of the three, what is your priority? What is your use case? Like, is low bit rate upscaling, is that important? Is game mode more important to you? Do you care more about, let's for example say, um, motion, or let's just say user interface? Like, what is the most important thing to you? So those things might take into account too, is what you're going to purchase. But as far as, like, you know anyone out there telling you what to get based off of their personal opinion, it's just hard to say. It's your hard-earned money. It's not like that person is going to be at your house, um, you know, using your TV. That's your TV at your house. So you're going to buy and make an educated decision based off of your own. So don't ever feel pressure because one YouTuber says one thing over another, guys. I'm not even a professional. I have all three of these TVs, and I don't even know which one is going to be, my most personal favorite. Yes, I still feel like the A95L is still my personal favorite, and it's probably because it's, like, to me, the most happy medium one, where, yeah, it's not as vibrant, but it's the second most vibrant. Um, yeah, it's a QD OLED. It has really good motion. It has a really good processor. Um, but I just feel like if there was like a checklist, and the checklist, I would say the A95L would probably check all the boxes the most out of all three TVs. But so everyone's different is basically what I'm trying to say. That's just my personal opinion, guys. You could say the same thing about the G4. The G4 is an amazing TV. I love it. I do happen to believe that it's going to be the TV of the year, because, again, the only reason why I think that is because of its processing and how good the clarity can get. But who knows? The S95D can win too. The S95D has been getting a lot of praise, and the matte finish. I know it's a hit or miss with everyone, but again, it's gonna be interesting to see, and I can't wait to see which TV ends up being the TV of the year myself. And I'm humbled to be part of this community. And I'm just an owner of the TVs. Obviously, I'm not sponsored. Obviously, I'm not a professional. I just want to share my personal experience with these three TVs and just things that I just noticed. And that's all I'm doing. Again, we are only in filmmaker mode and standard mode. Game mode's a whole different world. If you're primarily a gamer, obviously those things will be more important to you than anything else as far as the features that game modes provide and the gaming menus and things like that. So, but anyways, guys, I can tell you right now, man, the S90D, guys, it is a pleasure to own that TV, man. You can't go wrong, especially for the price. I would say that's probably the most recommended TV for the value because of how punchy it is and how sharp it looks in color. And I would even be daring to say that a lot of times, man, even out the box, especially in like filmmaker mode, the S90D looks better than the G4 and the A95L because it can get more vibrant. And you're talking about a mode who really tones down the color and makes the color look more washed out, guys. That's the crazy part. That's how good the S90D is. I'm not talking it up like crazy, guys. I've been really paying attention to these TVs very heavily, like sitting down, spending tons of time with them, just literally like walking back and forth, left to right, staring at these TVs, you know, laying down, uh, watching these TVs and just seeing what they're capable of and what the differences are. And I gotta say, guys, that S90D, man, for the price, would be my favorite, but my overall favorite has to be the A95L as far as the best happy medium goes. But you guys, I'm telling you right now, that S90D is a force to be reckoned with, and it's mainly because of the price. And it's just a gorgeous TV. The G4, I love it. I think when it comes to game mode, the G4 is probably going to end up being my favorite. But I haven't really put it up to the test against game mode versus the S90D. I know that the S90D is a monster in game mode, and I think this year I still think it's going to pull ahead in game mode because it's brighter and more colorful. But at the same time, I what I noticed is in game mode, not as much detail the S90D can get to than the G4. So it's kind of a toss up there too. But as far as the level of brightness goes, they're very, very close, very equal. I think, you know, the S95D would be the more comparable TV, apples to apples against the G4, obviously because of the price point that they're in. But and then, of course, now if you start comparing that, I would think that the S95D would win hands down in game mode because it can get brighter for most people and more colorful. I think that's what most people are going to be attracted to, especially in game mode. But, you know, when you have these TVs as an owner, guys, that clarity just spoils you. The 3D pop just spoils you. It is hard to get away from that. And that's what the G4 or LG is best at. And it shows every single time, hands down, for the most part, on the G4. But that's enough, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I apologize. I wanted to make a video earlier and produce it or upload it earlier in the week. I didn't like the video. I thought it was too long. So I just wanted to say I'm sorry about that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. And I will see you on the next one.